وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Good. Sound? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. طيب. The next chapter, or the next hadith in the chapter, is the 14th hadith, hadith number 14. Hadith number 650. Hafidh bin Hajar rahimahullah, the author, he says, وعن أم سلمة رضي الله عنها أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم كان أكثر ما يصوم من الأيام يوم السبت ويوم الأحد وكان يقول إنهما يوم عيد للمشركين وأنا أريد أن أخالفهم. أخرجه النسائي وصححه ابن خزيمة وهذا لفظه. Salama radiallahu anha narrates that the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam كان أكثر ما يصوم. He used to fast abundantly and often on Saturday and Sunday. Very often did he fast on Saturday and Sunday. Very often, oftentimes, did the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam fast on Saturday and Sunday. وَكَانَ يَقُولُ, and he used to say, i.e. explaining himself, clarifying to the people why he would fast on Saturday and Sunday so much or so often, he would say, إِنَّهُمَا يَوْمَ عِيدٍ لِلْمُشْرِكِينَ. These are 2 days of holiday and festival for the mushriks. There are 2 days in which the mushriks have a Eid, a festival or a holiday. وَأَنَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أُخَالِفَهُمْ. And I want to do the opposite. I wish to oppose them. I wish to be unique in my identity, in my worship, in my spirituality than the mushrikeen. This hadith is collected by Imam An-Nasa'i and Ibn Khuzaymah, and the wording belongs to Ibn Khuzaymah. It's collected by An-Nasa'i and Ibn Khuzaymah. And as a fa'idah for students and seekers of hadith, Ibn Khuzaymah rahimahullah was a great imam of hadith. Hafidh Kabir. Call him Imam al-A'imma, Shaykh al-Islam. And his book is also belongs to the Sahih genre. It belongs to, alaykum salam, the genre of as-Siyam. Like Sahih al-Bukhari, like Sahih Muslim, like Sahih Ibn Hibban, like Ibn as-Sakin and others. So his book is a Sahih. Is it like Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim in the level of authenticity and fame and popularity? We didn't necessarily say that. But it's a book that he considers to be authentic. Unless he specifically states or proves that the khabar is ma'lul. Like other ulama who wrote books on Sahih or the Sihah genre did as well. Aslul Wada, the original subject of the book, is Al-Akhbar al-Sahiha. Al-Akhbar al-Sahiha, authentic reports. So that's a very important point with regards to coming across a hadith that says collected by Ibn Khuzaymah. That's first and foremost. Second fa'idah, as we have stated before, An-Nasa'i's book or his books, As-Sunnah As-Sughra wal-Kubra, are from the most authentic books. And some of the ulama say that the Sunan of An-Nasa'i is the most authentic book after the Sahihain. They say that it's the most authentic book after the Sahihain. Sunan Abu Dawud is more popular, more famous. Sunan or Jami' Tirmidhi is more popular, more famous, more well-rounded. Other fawaid and other jawanib. But as far as the sihha, authenticity, precision and accuracy of authenticity, Nasa'i is aslam wa asah ma ba'd sahihain. And that's a fa'idah for the tulab of hadith. Moving forward. So Salama radiallahu anha, she narrates that the Messenger of Allah used to fast on these days, and he used to do it abundantly and often. And he was asked, he gave the explanation, that is when the mushrikun have a holiday, and he didn't want to be like them. He didn't want to eat and drink when they had a holiday. Sanani rahimahullah, he says, فالنهي عن صومه كان أول الأمر حيث كان صلى الله عليه وسلم يحب موافقة أهل الكتاب ثم كان آخر أمره صلى الله عليه وسلم مخالفتهم كما صرح به الحديث نفسه وقيل بل النهي كان عن إفراده بالصوم إلا إذا صام ما قبله أو بعده ما بعده. وأخرج الترمذي من حديث عائشة قالت كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصوم من الشهر السبت والأحد والاثنين ومن الشهر الآخر الثلاثاء والأربعاء والخميس. وحديث الكتاب دل على استحباب صوم السبت والأحد مخالفة لأهل الكتاب وظاهره صوم كل على الانفراد أو الاجتماع. Now, the previous hadith, the hadith of as-Samma bint Busr, with regards to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's prohibition of fasting on Saturday, and we have the hadith of Salama, in which the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to fast on Saturdays and Sundays all the time, and he explained it verbally as well. So it seems to be some type of clash or some type of lack of harmony. We've explained in the previous class what the ulama of Islam say regarding the previous hadith about fasting on Saturdays. Is it authentic hadith or is it mansukh? Is it abrogated, cancelled, no longer a rule? Now we have this second hadith, the hadith of Salama, in which the Prophet ﷺ did the exact opposite. Sanani rahimahullah, he says in the commentary, he says that the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam, he forbade the people to fast on Saturdays in the beginning. This is the view as he's taking, that it was a time in which he told the people, do not fast on Saturdays. And that is because the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam كان يحب موافقة أهل الكتاب. He wanted to do the things that the Jews and the Christians were doing. He wanted to agree with them. The concept of the general things that these three religions and faiths share. Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Everyone understand these words? Muwafaqat Ahl al-Kitab. Muslim, Jew, Christian share what? Certain things. And the Prophet ﷺ, he wanted to agree with them in those things. That was in the beginning. Then, after revelation was sent down, the commandments were given, he wanted to oppose them. Mukhalafatuhum. He didn't want to be like them. So the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, as it states in this hadith, he says it's Eid for the mushrikeen. And a very important fact here is that the hadith says mushrikeen, yet Sanani, he says that it's talking about Jews and Christians. So are the Jews and Christians considered mushrikun, or are they just kafirun? The concept of marrying a Jewish or Christian woman, eating the slaughtered animals, the meats of the Jews and the Christians, are they considered what? Ahlul Kitab, or are they on something different today? It's a very long discussion, huh? Moving forward. He says, so the Prophet ﷺ, that's why we have the harmony between this hadith and the previous hadith. That's opinion number one. Opinion number two, he says, وَقِيلَ, and others, they say, is that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he forbade the people from fasting on Saturdays without no day before it or no day after it. Without no day before it or no day what? After it. And not just by itself. Don't fast unless you do a what? So on and so forth. Moving forward. He says the hadith is collected by Imam Tirmidhi. It was narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ used to fast. He says, Min ash-shahr, from the month, Saturday and Sunday and Monday. And from another month, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So, just like we previously mentioned, select different days for voluntary fasting. So this hadith, the hadith Salama, it shows us is that it is recommended to fast on Saturdays and Sundays. Recommended to fast on Saturdays and Sundays. And this is for the purpose of going against the Jews and the Christians. Ahlul Kitab. And that's a very long discussion, as we said before, with regards to the different terminology and the things that have been changed and distorted. Has the book the kitab or the books, have they been changed and distorted? Of course they have. But Allah calls them what? And it's clearly been what? Perverted and distorted. But they still have the title of, you understand? They still call what? Ahlul Kitab. Allah calls them that. And it doesn't mean that their kitab that they have is what? Pure and protected and absolutely divine and so on and so forth. Everyone understand this? Moving forward. He says here, going against Ahlul Kitab. And he says the zahir of this hadith is that the Prophet either did one of the 2 days or he did both of them. He would either fast Saturday or fast Sunday or do what? The weekend together. Saturday and Sunday. And there are other things that pertain to this hadith and this ruling, such as what's the ruling on taking off on Sunday? Is it a good thing to do? Should a Muslim work on the weekdays? Work on the weekends? What's the best thing to do? If you have the ability to make your schedule, should you take off on Thursday and Friday and work on Saturday and Sunday? Why do we have weekends off in this country? Especially Sunday. Most businesses and places, or many of them, are closed on Sunday because of what? Religious basis. Or another issue, what's the ruling on taking off on Friday? Should you take off on Friday? Is Friday an Eid? If it is an Eid, should you take off? Or should, like the Jews and the Christians, or should you work on that day? All right? Moving forward. This hadith teaches us these rulings with regards to fasting. And I'm sure many of us, it's the first time we're hearing this hadith. Many of us. That the Prophet fasted on Saturdays and Sundays. So if you want to fast on a Saturday and a Sunday, then Monday is around the corner. Can you do that? You've now fasted 3 days in a row. Is that prohibited in al-Islam? It's not necessarily prohibited. What's prohibited is you keep what? Doing it over and over and over again. And even that is not necessarily haram according to all of the people of knowledge, as we have read, with regards to Siyam al-Dahr. Those who have the strength to do it versus those who what? Don't have the strength. We explained that. Khairan, inshallah. The importance of being different from the Jews and the Christians. And we live in a time in which you'll find a learned person saying, you should be like the Jews and the Christians. Be like them. Agree with them. You're all citizens of the United States. You all live in one country. We're not living in the archaic ancient times, the medieval times. The Ottoman Empire is finished long in the past. The caliphate of this one and that one. You should be like the people. You shouldn't be different. Why do you have that beard? Why are you wearing this thobe? Why are you dressing like this? Why are you covering your face? Why do you eat with your hands? Why? This is what we hear. It's very dangerous. All right? The Prophet ﷺ only wanted to do it just because they did it. Just for the sheer what? Mukhalafa. It goes to show us that being opposite from the Jews and the Christians is from the deen. It's an intention and is an objective and it is an aim of the Sharia. All right? Moving forward. The next hadith, he says, وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن صوم يوم عرفة بعرفة رواه الخمسة غير الترمذي وصح ابن خزيمة والحاكم واستنكره العقيلي. Next narration is narrated by Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه, is that the Messenger of Allah عليه الصلاة والسلام forbade one to be at Arafah and fast. He forbade for one to be at Arafah and to also fast at Arafah. This hadith has been collected by the five without the Tirmidhi, besides Tirmidhi. Ibn Khuzaymah collected it. Al-Hakim collected it. And Al-Uqayli, he considered the hadith to be munkar. Al-Uqayli, obviously from the ulama of hadith of the 4th century. And he has the famous book of Al-Rijal, Al-Du'afa Al-Kabir. He has an exhaustive set of narrators that are poor and weak. And Al-Uqayli, rahimahullah, he would oftentimes, not oftentimes, all of the times, he quotes hadiths in his book with the isnad. فهو كتاب مسند يخرج الأحاديث بسنده هو فتقول في تخريجه أخرجه العقيلي. طيب. All right, let's read what the author has to say about this hadith. What does As-Sanani say? He speaks about why it's weak. What is the reason why some consider it to be weak? He says, وَالْحَدِيثُ ظَاهِرٌ فِي تَحْرِيمِ صَوْمِ عَرَفَةَ بِعَرَفَةٍ وإليه ذهب يحيى بن سعيد الأنصاري وقال يجب إفطاره على الحاج وقيل لا بأس به إذا لم يضعف عن الدعاء نقل عن الشافعي واختاره الخطابي والجمهور على أنه يستحب إفطاره وأما هو صلى الله عليه وسلم فقد صح أنه كان يصوم عرفة بعرفة مفطرا في حجته ولكن لا يدل تركه الصوم على تحريمه. نعم يدل أن الإفطار هو الأفضل لأنه صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يفعل إلا الأفضل إلا أنه قد يفعل المفضول لبيان الجواز فيكون في حقه أفضل لما فيه من التشريع والتبليغ بالفعل ولكن الأظهر التحريم لأنه أصل النهي. Regarding this hadith, he says that this hadith proves is that it is impermissible to be at Arafah and to fast on Arafah. Impermissible to do what? To fast at Arafah. Haram, it cannot be done. That's the Zahir al-Hadith. That which is taken and extracted from this hadith. He says, rahimahullah, and this was the view of Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari, the Tabi'i, the one who's in the chain of narration in the A'malu bin Niyat, if you've memorized just that one hadith with the isnad. Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari. He held the view that a person must break his or her fast at Arafah, and you cannot fast at Arafah. Second view is that a person must break his or her fast if it weakens them from dua. Arafah, you're supposed to make dua, call out to Allah, stand and pray. And if you're fasting, you're too thirsty, you're too weak, you're too lightheaded, then he's saying you must break your fast. You have to break your fast at Arafah if it causes you what? Weakness. And that was the view of Shafi'i. It was reported that Imam Shafi'i, he took that view. It's not haram unless it weakens you from making dua. As far as most of the ulama, they know hold the view, most of the ulama, majority, they say that you should break your fast on Arafah. And you shouldn't fast. It's not haram to fast, nor is it recommended to what? To fast. But it's recommended to do what? To eat and drink. The Hajj, the pilgrim, should eat and drink on Arafah. That's the view of most of the scholars of Islam. طيب. The Messenger of Allah والسلام, he fasted. He says, what كان صح أنه كان يوم عرفة بعد عرفة أو بعرفة مفطرا. He didn't fast when he was on Arafah. How many times did the Prophet make Hajj? Once. Just once. And when he was at Arafah, he did not what? He didn't fast. His fast was broken. Alayhi salatu wasalam. His fast was what? Was broken. He did not break his fast. He was muftir. He was part of iftar. But just because the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam didn't fast, it doesn't prove that it's haram. It doesn't prove that it's haram. طيب. Now, which one is best to do at Arafah? To fast or not to fast? Scholars, they differ on this. Should you fast or should you fast not? The Prophet ﷺ's actions clearly show, one may say it's best to what? To break the fast. This hadith, if it's authentic, is either going to be haram to fast or best. وهكذا. Everyone understand this? So at the end of the day, when you're on Hajj, you're there, you have more than one option. What should I do? Let me do what the Prophet did. I'm going to eat and drink. Option number one. Option number two. I feel fine. I feel good. I'm not weak. I can do it. I'll fast. And I'll also make my dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you want to do that, then what? You have that option. What is the most beloved deed to Allah? From the most beloved deeds to Allah. From the most beautiful deeds to Allah is what? Fasting. Everyone understand this? So just because the Prophet didn't break his fast doesn't mean it's disliked to what? Just because he did break his fast, he didn't fast, it doesn't mean it's disliked to fast. Everyone understand this? So you have an option, inshallah ta'ala. You have to prioritize what you feel is best for you. And what you feel is the actual sunnah. Because there's more than one way of looking at it now. You have proofs and evidences stating the best deed to do is to what? Fast. You have proofs and evidences that the Prophet, he left off fasting. He didn't fast. And you have this hadith right here, in which the ulama of Islam differ on its level of authenticity. So fiqh is never going to be hard and confusing. It's always easy and simple if you have the proper principles. If you have the what? The proper principles. If you don't have the proper principles, or if you're taking on a role that you shouldn't be taking on as a layman or as a student or as a scholar who behaves like a student of knowledge, a scholar who behaves like a layman person, then it's going to be what? Problematic. Or a layman who behaves like then it's problematic. Talking about things, doing things in the improper way with the improper principles. But with the proper principles, no matter how much difference of opinion, it's always going to be what? Simple. This is the safest view. This is the view which is most precaution. Okay, simple. Simple. In the night time with the proper teaching. And Allah knows best. Next hadith. وعن عبد الله بن عمرو رضي الله عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا صام من صام أبدا متفق عليه. Narrated Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhuma, the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam says, whoever fasts perpetually, continually, he hasn't fasted. If you fast all of the time, every single day, you haven't fasted. And this hadith is collected by Bukhari and Muslim. وَلِمُسْلِمٍ مِنْ حَدِيثِ أَبِي قَتَادَةَ بِلَفْظٍ لَا صَامَ وَلَا أَفْطَرَ. Another version to Imam Muslim, reported by Abu Qatada, لَا صَامَ وَلَا أَفْطَرَ. He neither fasted nor broke his fast. He neither fasted nor broke his fast. خير إن شاء الله. قال اختلف العلماء في معناه. قال شارح المصابيح فسر هذا من وجهين، أحدهما أنه على معنى الدعاء عليه زجرا له عن صنيعه، والآخر على سبيل الإخبار، والمعنى أنه بمكابدة سوءة الجوع أو سورة الجوع وحر الظمأ لاعتياده الصوم حتى خف عليه ولم يفتقر إلى الصبر على الجهد الذي يتعلق به الثواب، فكأنه لم يصم ولم تحصل له فضيلة الصوم. ويؤيده أنه للإخبار قوله. طيب, he says here, there are two interpretations of this hadith. Listen carefully, very important. And you're not going to get the proper understanding of the hadith if you don't get the interpretation of the hadith. Number one is that the Prophet ﷺ is making dua against him. In this hadith, the Prophet is making dua against the one who fasts every single day, perpetually. He's praying against him. May he not fast. May he what? He's praying against him. If he's praying against him, then obviously it means that it's a what? A bad thing, for sure. And the Prophet is inhibiting us from doing it. Don't do this. The one who does it, I'll make dua against him. You understand the first interpretation? Interpretation number two is that the Prophet is telling us and he's informing us that the one who fasts every day isn't fasting. The one who fasts all of the time hasn't what? Hasn't fasted. He's telling us. How is he telling us this? How has he not fasted? And he's fasting every single day. What does this mean? He says, listen to this wisdom here, listen carefully. He says, is that because a person is accustomed to being hungry, accustomed to being thirsty, a person is fighting his hunger and his thirst all of the time, it has now become what? Easy for him to be hungry and thirsty and weak. It's easy for him because he does it every single day. Practice makes perfect. He does it every day. So therefore, when he fasts, fasting becomes what? Regular. And he doesn't need or require the what?
Strength.
The willpower, the discipline, the strength, the sabr, because it's so accustomed to him. Look how deep that is now. So this goes to show you here, based off of that, second interpretation is that a person shouldn't fast what? Every day. And you shouldn't fast all of the time. Mix it up. That way when you do fast, you what? You feel it. And it is getting you to have what? Discipline. Now, a person, he may argue, well, if you fast every other day, aren't you accustomed to fasting? When you fast Mondays and Thursdays, why they come Salam, 3 days out of the month, aren't you accustomed to fasting? One may make that what? He may make that argument, but it's still not the same as fasting every day, all of the time. Everyone clear on this one now? Tayyib, everyone understand this? And this is beautiful speech. And it goes to show us is that there's a wisdom in you doing things. And that wisdom is not for you to punish yourself and to torture yourself. But the wisdom is for you to be conscious and awake and aware of what you're doing. Self-control is the name of the game. Appreciating Allah for giving us food and drink. Appreciating His blessings. And you don't know what you have until it's what? Until it's gone. And then you realize, oh man, it's a blessing to have cold water. It's a blessing to have food. It's a blessing to have this. You can't be truly grateful if you have it all of the time. And it's from the wisdom of Allah taking things away from us. It's from the wisdom of Allah causing certain things of pain and suffering. It's for us to understand and realize and to appreciate what we have of blessing. Everyone understand this? And when a person is always living in a state, he can't necessarily understand the what? The opposite. With regards to wealth, with regards to strength, always getting your way, things always going smoothly, getting everything that you want all of the time. You won't appreciate it and you become what? Spoiled. And this is wisdom with regards to raising children. That you're not doing your child a favor by giving them everything they want all the time. You're actually handicapping your child. You're hurting them for the real world. When they grow up, they will encounter other people and they won't get their way all the time. And that's why grown people have temper tantrums. That's why grown men and grown women have what? They have temper tantrums. They holler and they curse and they bang and they get upset when they don't get their way. Because they were used to what? Getting their way when they were younger. They were spoiled, rotten brats. And anytime I want something, I just cry and whine and fall on the ground and do whatever I want, and my parent will give it to me. Why will my parent give it to me? Because my parent is weak and soft, or they don't feel like hearing me cry. And that's another dangerous thing of parents. The child has more sabr than the parent. You ever be with someone and you say, oh, just wait, let him wait. He says, no, he won't. He'll keep saying it. He won't be quiet. I have to give it to him now, and he'll cry for another 20 minutes. The child will win because the child knows that your sabr is what? Thinner than his. I don't have a problem crying for 20 minutes. I'll whine the whole way driving on the turnpike. No problem. Huh? Best psychologist. But my parent, you can't bear me crying for 20, 30 minutes. So you give me the toy or give me the food. And after a while, it becomes a cycle. And oftentimes parents, they become hostages of their children. And then when they grow up, they reach puberty, they become grown people, they get married, they work for people, they have people working for them. That brat lifestyle, what? It continues. And the moment they don't get their way, they'll come out of character. It's a problem. So you have to have the concept of when you get everything that you want all of the time, you don't appreciate it, you don't value it the same. So sometimes it's a wisdom for a parent to take certain things from their child. This is what children have to live like in this country, or this place, or this time. Or when I was growing up, I didn't have a cell phone. We didn't have iPads. There was no internet. There was no such thing as Google. There was no such thing as this video game in your pocket. It was a luxury to have this. It was a blessing to have that. Everyone understand this? So that these words, inshallah, fall upon what? Open ears, not deaf ears, hopefully. Huh? Open ears, inshallah. Udhunun wa'iyah, as the Quran says. Huh? What? Ears that do what? Ta'i. Huh? They comprehend and they take in. Wallahu alam. So, moving forward. So those are the two interpretations of the hadith. All right? Moving forward, he says here, قال ابن العربي إن كان دعاء فيا ويح من دعا عليه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن كان معناه الخبر فيا ويح من أخبر عنه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه لم يصم وإذا لم يصم شرعا فكيف يكتب له ثواب. Very profound statement made by Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi. He says, if this hadith is dua, then woe to the one whom the Prophet has prayed against. And if it's not a dua, if the Prophet is telling us, then woe to the one whom the Prophet says hasn't fasted. So if his fast is not legislatively fasting, it's not sharia fasting, it's no reward. It's no what? It's no reward in fasting all of the time. قال رحمه الله وقد اختلف العلماء في صيام الأبدي فقال بتحريمه طائفة واختيار ابن خزيمة لهذا الحديث وما في معناه وذهب طائفة إلى جوازه واختيار ابن المنذر وتأولوا أحاديث النهي عن صيام الدهر أن المراد من صام مع الأيام المنهي عنها من العيدين وأيام التشريق وهو تأويل مردود بنهيه صلى الله عليه وسلم لابن عمرو عن صوم الدهر وتعليله بأن للنفس عليه حقا ولأهله حقا ولضيفه حقا ولقوله أما أنا فأصوم وأفطر فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني فالتحريم هو الأوجه دليلا. ومن أدلة تحريم ما أخرجه أحمد والنسائي وابن خزيمة وابن حبان من حديث أبي موسى مرفوعا من صام الدهر ضيقت عليه جهنم وعقد بيده. قال الجمهور يستحب صوم الدهر لمن لا يدعه عن حق وتأول أحاديث النهي بتأويل غير راجح واستدلوا بأنه صلى الله عليه وسلم شبه صوم الست من شوال مع رمضان وشبه 3 أيام من كل شهر بصوم الدهر فلولا أن صائمه يستحق الثواب لما شبه به. وأجيب بأن ذلك على تقدير مشروعيته فإنها تغني عنه كما أغنت الخمس صلوات عن الخميس صلاة التي قد كانت فرضت علي أو على أنه لو صلاها أحد لوجوبها لم يستحق ثوابا بل يستحق العقاب. نعم أخرج ابن السني من حديث أبي هريرة مرفوعا من صام الدهر فقد وهب نفسه من الله عز وجل إلا أن لا ندري ما صحته. Scholarly discussion, very important for the student of knowledge to always read these types of discussions and not to suffice yourself just what's here, but to go to the other books and the other sources. But as we said before, Subul as-Salam is a very, very, very wholesome, hearty piece of what? Bread. 8, 12 grain bread, huh? For the talib al-ilm, talib al-hadith, talib al-fiqh, one who studies usul al-fiqh, qawaid fiqhiyya, la yastaghni an hadha kitab. Can never ever dispense and do away with this book and the arguments and the comparative fiqh that you'll find what? In this book. So to summarize things and to keep things easy, the scholars of Islam, they have 2 main views here with regards to fasting every single day, forever. Can you do it or can you do it not? Some say it cannot be done, period. Haram. You cannot fast every day for the rest of your life. And others, they say it's haram if you neglect people and you're too weak to do things properly. So that would apply to who? A brother who's what? Married. A brother who's what? Who's married. He's married, for example. He's fasting every single day. He's never with his wife. He's never with his children. He has to work. He has to do something. Wahakadha. Or you have to go to work. You have to take care of your family, feed your family, and you can't work when you're not eating and drinking. You'll pass out. You'll fall out. You have to provide for your family. If you don't provide for your family will starve. He can't what? Fast forever. But someone who's single, who's wealthy, who doesn't have anyone that's inviting him to eat lunch in the daytime, hypothetically speaking, this person can do what? Forever. Because there's no haqq that they're wasting. They're not wasting anyone's responsibility or duty or right. Everyone understand this? You are my brother, right? I invite you to my walima in the daytime. You say, I can't come, I'm fasting. I have another walima or another aqiqah, and you never ever come and take my invitation, ever. Because you're fasting. That's not what? My haqq is for you to do what? Come and eat from my food, as long as it's not haram or anything like this. Everyone understand this? Or let's say vice versa, a woman and a man. A woman who wants to fast every day, but she's married, and her husband wants relations in the daytime. He says what? Come be with me. She says, I'm fasting. That's the man's what? Haqq that's being wasted. And the third view is that, he said, moving forward, so first and foremost we have what? Is that it's haram. And second, we say that it's not haram as long as a person has the strength to do it, and it doesn't forbid or prohibit or prevent him from doing someone's what? Haqq. Everyone understand? That's the 2 main views here. And as if the author is leaning towards it being haram and it not being permissible to fast all of the time, every single day. Siyam ad-dahr. Fasting perpetually. Everyone understand this? That's a summary of that. The next chapter is the chapter of i'tikaf. The hadith regarding the i'tikaf, which inshallah ta'ala perhaps we'll save them for the next class, which will be on Tuesday night, Tuesday evening.